champ in the mix.
Alright everybody, just picked up a new vlog camera. It's the same one that TJ and LZ and all those other guys use. Awesome little handheld, I can fit in my pocket and it's great. However, it has this ridiculous feature. You can turn the audio off very quickly and easily. Right between the on-off button for the camera and the record button, you can toggle it to switch the microphone off. And so I'm pretty bummed because I kicked the audio off for our files through FD Orlando, but you know, we do have a ton of other stuff that we recorded with some other cameras, the GoPros, the on-cars, everything else. And so once again, just like I was telling you guys, I was going to be taking on, you know, trying to step up and step in and get more of this, you know, one-on-one, showing you guys more behind the scenes, what's actually going on at the track. And so we actually got a pretty good idea for you guys for this video. We're going to do some more in-depth conversation about our runs. Flipping the script a little bit, we're still going to make it work for you guys.
He created the chicane. Sick.
Trying to figure out how to get the cars to roll into turn one together. Basically, it was like hit up FD with like, there's got to be something that we can do that is how you slow the lead car down, right? Let them go as fast as they want, but slow them down so the chase car can get their own launch, their own pace into turn one. And so it hit me. I'm like, what about a start chicane, right? Because a chicane they use in racing to slow you down on a straightaway. And the idea of having a chicane at a starting point was kind of weird. And they're like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would you put a chicane from a stop? I'm like, well, think about it. Like, you can't just shoot through it. Like, the car moves forward. You have to turn it, and then you can go. It's just a means of having the car break traction if you're trying to go too fast, hitting a cone if you're trying to go too fast, and thus began the start chicane.
Do you find yourself feeling like you're pointing at the wall before you initiate?
Yeah, so, you know, they want you sideways by the one, and like you're hitting fourth right about here, and so when you're hitting that, you kind of get into the pedal, the car kind of comes down naturally. It's really hard to keep it straight fully and be accelerating hard.
Correct.
So, you know, you get like a little bit of step out and you use that to kind of sling it up and into the corner. And you want to be at angle before you hit that outer zone, but you'll see throughout the weekend, guys kind of slowly kind of getting it fully wrapped in by the BC sign. So it's obviously preferred to be locked in full angle by the one.
Yeah, and then I'm just imagining in the chase, as a driver, I would probably do a little bit of a different entry than I would in the lead, right? So when I'm chasing, maybe I'm coming in, keeping the nose a bit more straight with a little handbrake and just trying to dive in on the car versus freeing the car up and then rolling into my zone.
Yeah, I've gotten stuck there before where like you're coming down, this guy starts to roll in, and then you start to add your angle and you're trying to drive it back up that hill.
Exactly.
And you kind of get stuck underneath them. So.
Exactly.
But like the problem is you can't really do a good e-brake initiation in the chase here because you're going to instantly fall back.
Exactly.
You want to be able to drive up into that pocket, but the other problem is when you're doing that, you're adding radius, right? When you're coming in from down here and you're driving all the way back up and around here, so you're giving that bit of timing to them because they're just going straight in and rolling around. So there's, like you said, there's so much to having that little like 2 or 3 mile an hour over them to get up and into that pocket, but then slow down and roll with them. And timing the transition correctly, landing in the right spot, having the right momentum. So there's so many things that all happen like that, and that sets the whole run.
This is the section that they've patched up where most of the guys sometimes DB'd in the past. It was really harsh coming off this bank. So I'm assuming, Chris, they're trying to say the further line you stay out, the less aggressive off the bank would be, versus if you come in earlier, the more aggressive? It
will technically be less aggressive, and you also, now that I'm looking at it, you actually will hit this with less angle in the car, because over here, right, you're gonna be coming off the bank and you're gonna be making this corner, you're gonna hit this at about a 45-degree angle, sometimes even deeper.
Correct.
Right? But over here, you're gonna be coming through it at like a 30-degree angle. Not the car, but just because the radius, see, right, the radius, instead of coming across this perpendicular, so 45-degree car angle, boom, now you're coming off of the bump at about 45 degrees, right? So with the car at angle, it's gonna be like much less.
That's actually making sense.
It's called math, brother. It's called math, brother. Here's the old clip, there's the new clip. So that's what I'm saying. Like basically straight out, of course it's downwards, but you know.
Right, so we were here.
That's a solid 10 feet.
Oh, dude.
10 feet in. I don't know what I just said there. 10 feet out.
Yeah, 10 feet out.
Yeah, 10 feet out.
So there's a little jump here.
So right after, you can see it falls away, right where that transition is. So that's where people kind of get a little launchy. But to the right is actually where we used to hit it. So they have everything kind of shifted over more. So it's gonna be a pinch point down here now instead of just like fasting through.
So we're gonna dive into some of our laps out here at Formula Drift Orlando. Here we go, Formula Drift Orlando, coming up and going into the burnout box. This was my absolute first run of the weekend, and one of the things I always say is our best lap is the first lap off the trailer. Because we have our notes from the years before, we know how to dial the car in and get it pretty close. And you know, so we're rolling into our Friday practice with a good understanding of the car and the course. And so it's kind of like let's just throw down a pace lap, throw down the bar, and see where we stand, right? And then we go from there. And so right now I'm just pushing in the fronts, you know, and by pushing in the fronts, you can see it's like a big understeer, like cross the car all up so that it doesn't actually turn, and you're forcing the front tires to scuff. And what that does, it knocks all those worms off, all the extra debris off of the front tires, because the front tires are, you know, super sticky, and the rear, we're spinning, we're burning, and so they clean themselves off. And so we want to get those fronts nice and knocked off so we have good grip for the run. It also heats up the tires and gets them set in. So launching out of here, cut through the chicane, 1, 2, 3, fourth gear, let it come down, rotate in. A little handbrake check on the first run because don't want to wall it up on our first hit. And so here we're just manipulating the throttle and the angle, hitting that new zone, filling it all the way up. And then I wasn't doing big angle there right yet. You know, coming through, missing that clip, of course. And then right here, you just kind of see the car just kind of sets in, and you see that white line. You're just trying to hold that exact spot, the same angle, and you're working the throttle, you're working the pedal. And our new changes that we have with the car actually gives me a lot more throttle control than I've had in the past. It's much closer to the VA car now. I'll get into more of that later. So here with Osbo, let him come down, make sure to have the room, try and get back up on the bank. You don't want to fall down and be underneath him. You want to be up on that same line that we are. Right here, boom, he pushes in, he settles in, and we let it drive in. And we go to rotate, he snaps over and gets way crossed up, goes inside, I'm out on the zone, he's coming back in, snaps back across, and I try to settle in because I want to get a good push on the flat to see how we pace with him on the flat corner, right? Because he's going to be one of the fastest cars. They got the biggest tire out there. And so it's one of the things where when we go out and practice, like we only get like 7 laps or so. Like we don't get our full 12 most of the time before it's the seating bracket. And we're only allowed to get a maximum of 12. And 12 sounds like a lot, but when half our lead and half our chase, like you're down to 6 max, you know, examples of lead and follow. So back in the pit, our 2 laps are in, so we're gonna change tires. And now I'm watching the replay, so Nate Hamilton, my boy, he's up there spotting, he's taking clips, as well as relaying information to me. And so he sends it down, and then we're talking about the run, we're watching the run, so I see his perspective, and then we can talk about, you know, what settings we wanna change, anything we need to do, you know, quick pop of the hood, just letting things stay cool. It was super hot down there, it was like 90 plus degrees, and so our car was running great, you know, no issues with the temps, with the oil, or water, anything like that, but trying to keep our alternator happy, trying to keep, you know, everything under the hood happy, keeping our air temps down. So Odie, this is a wild one because Odie, once again, super fast, little e-brake check there to settle the car, probably didn't need to do that. Once again, 3rd lap out, so little e-brake check here, coming in, and right here, boom, contact. So I think Odie snapped over faster than I was expecting, and so I came in, I felt really good right on the door, right on the pocket, and then before I actually backed off, he comes across for the left, and Nate said that was a pretty early transition, so it actually hit my front wheel, and that's why we kind of fell back, had to go back, completely tore up the lip on the wheel, and so we're doing a full front end check here, doing the nut and bolt, doing the toe change, everything. I'm scrolling Instagram, I'm just chilling, the guys are doing a great job for me. And so right here you can see, like, yeah, a lot of pedal manipulation, you know, and like a little bit of left foot, not a lot. You just want your foot to be there in case you need it. And you can see my right foot, I'm able to drive. I'm not full on, full off, full on, full off. If you look at old videos, there's a lot more up and on. And so here you can see, like, I'm finding it, I'm working the pedals together, like more throttle, more brake. So this is definitely a chase lap because there's a lot of left foot on there, trying to keep the car settled. And I believe this is the actual in-car of that chase lap. So we're doing a run with Jeff Jones here, and he was struggling a little bit with speed. He went out in 32. It was a bummer. He's, you know, awesome driver, awesome guy. And so this was another one of our early chase runs. And we're trying to close the gap on it right here, and we were kind of struggling a little bit right at first. And so this is when we were realizing that we were a little off the pace, right? I'm like, okay, we can't close the door on, you know, Osbo, on Odie, on Jeff, and now we're running Turk, and same thing here, you know, flick in, that little punch of the handbrake, it's not necessary, I shouldn't have done that, you know, and allow me to kind of push in. You only see me get close, like, you know, towards the end of the bank, but actually Turk carried his momentum through. I got close with Osbo and with Odie, because they checked up and got the car really crossed up, which is good, but right here on the flat, Turk's just pulling away. I got nothing on him. So it's my second lap, my tires are gone, and he's just motoring us. And so this was when I knew that we had to make some, you know, substantial changes to the car. And what I think we were doing was we were really trying some like wild stuff in Orlando. Even though we've had success there in the past, we were trying to go beyond, right? We're trying to find that next level, trying to get that 10 out of 10. I think what we did was we went over the bell curve. We actually pushed the car a little too far in the numbers game with our tire pressures, with our toe settings, things like that. And we think that the car actually started to slow down. And so that was one of our last runs on Friday. And so we went back to the drawing board, put the car up on the scales and double checked everything, realigned it, re-squared it, made some spring rate changes, made some scaling changes, made some toe changes, shock changes. Like we like kind of hit the reset button. And when we hit the ground on Saturday, we had a ripper.
That VR-powered all-new Z throws it in. Oh, we talk about it, but Snooki, failure to launch, doesn't have the angle, but Chris Forsberg has the right spot. Looks like we got contact. Snooki is at fault. He's at a deficit. Contact was made. He was at fault. So Snooki, M-Spec Performance S15 initiates. Chris Forsberg, again, another scenario in that chase position with a bit of an advantage here. So Forsberg, oh, and whew, that got sketchy. Yeah. All right, so Forsberg doesn't need to continue on because Snooki, the lead car, shut it down, but Forsberg will continue on. Let's lock it in. Another three-time champ in the mix. Talking about Chris, the Force Forsberg. He pilots his Nismo Auto Parts NOS Energy Drink, all new Nissan Z on GT Radial tires. It is Chris the Force Forsberg! Adam LZ chase him down. Chris Forsberg will be leading. And through the start chicane. See that telemetry, good start there. Chris Forsberg initiates into the bank. Adam LZ lunges to the side, he has to back off. Forsberg consistent with the angle. Adam now jumps back to the side of the home team. We saw Adam drop back. He drops back once again. Let's see if he can gain that and get in that smoke pocket. Chris Forsberg goes up on the bank. No, just on. No, he didn't. Oh, and then Adam LZ dives in. Not mimicking the angle exactly, getting in that pocket. You saw him get the proximity. It's going to come down to the second run, obviously. All right, here we go. The Drift HQ BMW E36 LZ. Adam out front, Forsberg in the chase position. Adam initiates. Chris Forsberg tucks in, good mimicking of the angle. Obviously could be a little bit closer, but now coming down through the smoke trail. Forsberg loses it, goes in on the inside. Forsberg shoots in on the inside, buried in that smoke. And Adam LZ finishes out. It's going to be Adam LZ unofficially. Big unfortunate turn of events for Chris Forsberg, but Adam LZ gets the win.
Certainly the most frustrating way to go out. Second being getting lost in the smoke and transferring that 0.2 seconds early, that 10 degrees too far left, or a little bit on the off throttle, which, you know, because what I think I did was I was right up on with him. I didn't get a lot of good chases with our car before the main competition. And the only good chase I got with LZ in top 16. So I'm down there, I'm in the pocket, feels good. I go to back off, you know, to come back behind him and do the bumper to bumper transfer. And the car just kind of snapped over quickly because I wasn't in the pedal, driving through the transition. And so it snapped over, and what that does is changes your direction quicker, pushes you left faster. So I was that, I think I went 4 off. It was like either that or the right rear was on the line. It was bad. I hit the inner clip with the right rear tire. So it was a full car length over. It's not because, it's like you forget how to drive a car. You just don't know where you're going. And I think that there's some advantage to chasing first in these settings, because after that first run, a lot of these guys, the course is 1000% smoked out. It's completely smoked out, and we're sitting there, they're waiting. They're not waiting for, just people to run around and take a break. There's so much smoke lingering in the track. And then you're doing your next run, and now you have 30% less visibility overall. Then you're in the chase, in the smoke, and it just compounds. So super bummer. However, very, very proud of the guys and the team, everybody coming together. Everybody was just doing such a good job, and just everybody working well together, having a good time. And we're basically seeing ourselves progressing and finding these little niches with the car to keep it in that top 5 level that we want to be at. So every year it gets more difficult, and so we're always pushing ourselves to stay in that zone. And I really like how the team came together, the positivity of it, not just feeling defeated and complacent with the car, but putting in the effort, putting in the equity, and giving us a car to race on Saturday. So, thank you so much to the team. You guys are absolutely killing it.